Let me put my mic up on.
What's the topic?
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna roll right into it, I guess. I was thinking about these NFL roster bubble training camp, possible training camp cuts. Possible training camp cuts.
Good morning, and welcome to another amazing episode of the People's Rebuttal Podcast. Good morning, gentlemen. I thought we was jamming for a minute. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, goddammit. We live and direct.
That's what we is.
On another Friday, which I'm glad to partake in with my fellow brethren, just in case.
Yeah, Zach has his Friday morning snack. I have my Friday morning collar shirt on.
We got a little game we're gonna play. Let's guess what Zach's breakfast is. It looks like he's drinking coffee and sunflower seeds.
He just showed, and I still couldn't tell you. It looked like a trail mix.
I've got a mixed bowl of whatever they have here in Maplewood.
Okay.
And I have some Planters something.
That was close.
Chocolate.
We were close.
And water.
And water.
We was close. Exactly like he drink coffee every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every morning.
And he looks like he dips with snuff.
Like what?
He look like he dip. Copenhagen, preferably.
Nope.
You look like a couple of those punters I used to play with. He dressed. That's the punter's hat, the shirt in the morning.
Why? Because they were white.
Not only that, but they had the cups. That's part of it. But they just look like regular, normal guys, and you like, this motherfucker can punt 65 fucking yards. You'll never fucking know it. Just walk around dipping him. They dipped every fucking morning. They had on their flip flops, the little fishing hat. It was every fucking morning. And every once in a while you catch a black guy that fall into that shit. Hey, let me see what that dip feels like, because the white guys make it look like it's so great. And my buddy Dip, man, he threw up in that motherfucker. I'll never forget it. I said, that's what your ass get. That's what your ass get. Mind your conduct. You know what I'm saying? Mind your conduct and mind your goddamn business. You ain't been sniffing and dipping and duffing and snuffing. What you trying to try it now for? Yeah.
No doubt.
If I can, that kind of reminded me of a conversation I was having the other day about these. I was actually watching videos and just going down just taking me down through the wormhole of music, but not only that, but the transition of music and how some of these groups actually turned people on to drugs, made drugs look cool, like the video sipping on syrup. I'm like, who sits around all day and drinks codeine?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, they drinking codeine. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And then,
Vaughn, was this a recent video you saw?
No, it was an old one, but it just started. Yeah, it was. That video was like in the early 2000s. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
But it just reminded me of the day how, I was reading some stories about kids overdosing on, not overdosing, they're smoking, what, fentanyl? What is that? The stuff that relaxes you when you're on hospice or something like that. They're dipping these drugs, these designer drugs. It just started, it was a part of the designer drug.
The promethazine?
No, it was called fentanyl. And it slows down. It slows down your heart rate from.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, who's smoking that?
Dumbasses.
I'm like, who smokes that? And it's teenagers just dying behind it. Yeah. So I just thought about that when I was thinking about the dip. I was like, even though that's not nowhere close to that, I thought about some of the designer drugs and how we allow whatever comes on whoever is the gatekeeper to what we actually see on TV, and how there's no filter for the kids anymore. I mean, they talking about straight, hey, we fucking and I'm touching ass. I mean, it wasn't nothing that left anything to your imagination anymore. So
the evolution of life.
That's a hell of an evolution.
And it's always going to evolve, man, and change. But
are we evolving for the good or the bad?
Hey, whatever you want to call it, it's going to change. There was two constants I think I've mentioned to you guys before in life, and that's death and change. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
And bills.
And bills. So you do remember the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of having some good conversations with my youngest son since he's been, kind of hanging with me since he's out of school. And we talked a little bit about global warming.
Okay.
Which was kind of cool. And man, we hit some pretty goddamn high temperatures around here.
Man, go throw something out there. I'm interested in global warming.
Well, I'm just saying we hit some pretty high temperatures out here, and for somebody like me who took pride in my grass, probably about 5 years ago, my grass had to be award winning, somewhere close to it.
Yeah,
about as good as you can get Bermuda to look.
Okay.
If folks out there, if you know what Bermuda grass is, I mean, it's not really a good cut, I guess you could say, but you could, if you baby it and you doctor it up, it can really look really nice,
Right.
But man, we've been hitting these temperatures and we go through these dry spells so long. It's like, even if you water your grass every day, it's like you're fighting a lost cause, because your grass still gonna be yellow and brown. it's still gonna be yellow and brown. And here you are sitting with a $500 water bill.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you have your 10-day outlook and everything over 101, welcome to Texas, right? And that's
welcome to Texas.
And that's like with on average a month, maybe 2 straight with no rain.
I remember I was living here at the time when we almost went through July with every day at 100. Yeah. At least we got used to that.
So you got used to it, huh?
Yeah, it was hot. It's a little bit different when you're younger, but when you're older, man, my skin is just like, woo, what the fuck are you doing outside?
It wore me out. I mean, it wears me out. I'm going to tell you right now, that shit wears me out.
You look pretty.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Vaughn.
He looked pretty exhausted yesterday. I saw him yesterday.
Man.
Is it just the fact of being out in it, Zach, or is it a psychological thing, or what are you?
I was wore out. Yeah. Well, yesterday I was wore out going up and down a ladder. So, I mean, you've been to Maplewood.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is a nice little side topic. All you idiots out there, there's a lot to be said for doing a job and doing it right the first time. And
welcome to life.
Whoever, and this is one of those places, it wasn't like they weren't going to pay for it. It wasn't like they were like, oh, well, we just do it as cheap as possible. That's not, everything in here is not like that. But whoever did this had splices and speaker wires, and, they were wondering why they had problems using wattage amplifiers to run voltage speakers. It was ridiculous. So for me yesterday, it was more about getting up and down off this ladder, then going outside, climbing on the outside ladder, drilling the hole, doing all that stuff that the up and down. I mean, it's both. There's times in what I do that it's mostly physical. There's other times that it's mostly mental. But then there's days like yesterday where it is a cross of all the above. You're physically drained, you're mentally drained. You're what audio's not working, what video's not working. Why did they do this? Crap, I got to rewire this one piece for this one stupid thing to work. Mm-hmm. And so that's what yesterday. Now the physical side of it, I mean, I get on autopilot. You know, mm-hmm. It's one of those things where I'm out there, you know, building that building. I mean, it was hot.
Yeah.
You know, doing that roof, it was 100 degrees the day we did that roof, you know, mm-hmm. shingling that roof. And that's just mentally forcing yourself to move forward.
Yes.
You know, you got to get it done. It's not an option. Your back hurts, your arm hurts, your knees hurt. You know, everything hurts when you're doing it. But at the end of the day, you can lay down in bed and you're tired and you go to sleep. When you have those mental days, a lot of times it's not like that, you know, because you're still going through your mind, you know, especially if you still have more to do on that project. You know, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's it going to look like?
Yes.
And when you have that in both days, the physical and the mental, knowing you got to go back the next day and keep going, that's the draining part of it.
Hey, Zach, you made some great points. And don't get me wrong, that heat. I'm sorry. The heat.
No, go ahead.
So, no, I was just going to say you made some great points, and that's why I had asked the question, because, like, knowing I have to be outside and I have to do things in the heat, it's like I psychologically prepare myself or has trained myself to, all right, man, if you got to do it, get it done. You know, that's that work ethic we was instilled with. But that mental part of it, like you said, I know you're a perfectionist and you happen to come behind someone and it's a bad job. Mentally, I've found myself having to balance myself and dealing with a mental challenge, because that's more draining than anything. And that's even without the heat. You know, I found myself.
How do you approach that? So I mean, I know how I approach it, but mm-hmm. you get to a job and the guy before you, you know, there's a lot to be said for doing it right the first time. Uh-huh. You know, if a problem goes wrong here, I know that every speaker has a home run to it. I don't have to deal with daisy chains and what speaker's connected to what goes where. So yes. I completely rewired it. So mm-hmm. before I say how I cope with it, how do you cope with it?
Okay. And now when you were asking the question, I went to my my installation technician days. But even on a every day, man, I just say if it have to be done, it have to be done, Mafio. It don't matter who did it, what went wrong, and I do it the way it's supposed to be done, whatever it is, you know, from my job to my house, my wife, my kids, anything. I do it the way it's supposed to be done and don't think about nothing prior, because again, that's taxing to my mind. And if I think about that, then it'll take away from my endurance and my performance to perform the task at hand. So that's kind of how I deal with it, man. If it has to be done, let's just get it done. You know, what'd you say? Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's what it is. Yeah, you know. It's suck it up, Buttercup. You know, there's an old saying, it's the salesman rant. You know, guy goes into a car, you know, and he's just BS and wanting to test drive a car and then doesn't actually, there you go, and then doesn't actually do anything, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a salesman rant. You know, they all go back there, they talk crap about the guy who, you know, didn't buy a car, and he's a piece of crap. Blah, blah, blah. They basically vent. And I think for me, you know, it's kind of the same thing. During the process, you know, there's nothing can be done. It has to be fixed. You know, what you did, what you do, it follows into the same thing. It's not like you can, if you rant and rave about it, anything's gonna change. It's not gonna fucking change. It still has to be redone, or it still has to be done correctly. So you fight your way through it, and then the next day on the podcast, you rant about the fucking idiot who, you know, but I do that. That's what you do. You know, I called Jake afterwards, and I said, man, let me tell you what this son of a bitch did.
Ooh.
You know, this is he did this, and this. And Jake's like, man, that's some BS. But Jake knows what it is. And Jake does it to me. He'll call and be like, man, these idiots at this place did this. Yeah. But you have to vent that out. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. You have to vent that out and get rid of it so that it doesn't weigh you down. I'm not the type of person that stresses about things. You know, Nicole said time and time again, I've never seen you angry. And I really don't get angry. I get very focused. It's not anger. That's focus. I know exactly, but I see you. I see you there. Hold on. We're gonna put him in the middle. I get very focused, but I don't really get, angry about it. I get very methodical. Yeah. I see you. I see you, Mr. Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn.
But it is a matter of venting it. We were at a place yesterday where, the DirecTV guy could have made better choices. He didn't. He took the easiest, fastest way out, and now we have to deal with the aftermath.
Okay.
If I would have been in that house, I used to do DirecTV installs. We would go through the process of, what are you putting where? How are you going to go about doing this? Answering the questions. Does a primary Genie box have to be in this location? No, it doesn't. Yes. It doesn't really matter. All of them have DVRs. It doesn't matter where you put it. Since you're doing this and here and this and this, and I can easily wall drop a cable to here, why don't we put the DirecTV box, in this room rather than fucking you over and putting it in the one room that is the hardest to wire for.
Yeah, and I get that. So, Vaughn, you have any situations that you can attest to, like, how you have to control your mind to balance out and,
It's always going to be mind over matter. Okay. You always have to. Okay. I think, anytime, if you just think about my background, we was getting up 4 a.m. in training. I just remember we had to lay in the grass that was wet. It was going straight through your pants, and once some drawers wet, it's time to go now. You often wonder, like, how the hell did I get here and why am I doing this? But, at some point you do have to suck it up and push through. I think.
But do you have that with coaches where you disagreed with their process?
Oh yeah. Well, not necessarily the process, but maybe strategies. I think once you reach a certain level and you have a certain level of experience, no matter what it is that you're doing, you're entitled to change things and make them your way too. You learn the way the teacher teaches you. And if you find a better way that fits and suits you, you can kind of implement it into what you've learned. And now have a new book of moves, whatever it is that you have. That's just being a student of the game, being a student of whatever it is that you're doing. And so, you do have times where you got to push through. I think we did that a lot during our generation, and we didn't have a lot of time for crying. You did whatever the fuck your job was supposed to be, and you pushed on through. It wasn't no use crying about it. You still got to get the job done. And so, like Mafio said, I think you just kind of get your mind prepared for that day. If your mindset is right, it's really easy work. Just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to be outside in the elements, or prepare yourself for whatever it is that you might be going through during that day. Don't act like it ain't coming. Some of us don't prepare well, and when the time comes, now we're scrambling and spreading what we call good cheer around, the Christmas cheer, and now you got everybody around feeling like shit. So I'm just not that type of guy that'll come up on the scene. If I feel bad, I still go with the old saying is, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say shit at all. You know what I mean?
Fuck that. I'm gonna say some shit.
See what I'm saying?
Nobody trying to hear that shit. I'm talking about when you got I'm talking about when you got teammates. So you just you can change a lot about what's going on today by changing your attitude. And so there's no use to going around with a negative attitude. That right there will suck the rest of the energy you got. Away. It's already hot than a motherfucker out here.
Yeah,
I've seen technicians out there that work harder not to do a job than actually just doing the job.
Just do the fucking job.
Like if you would put that much effort into actually doing the job when you're trying to get out of the job, you'd be done by the time you were done arguing. I had an AT&T guy who had to run a new line to a client's house, and he sat out there for an hour, and I walked out there, and he's like, I'm calling around trying to, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now, man, I got all day. I can sit here all motherfucking day. I need this done. We scheduled today. I told y'all what the problem was. And I said, honestly, man, you're working harder to get out of the job than just doing the job. You'd almost be done by now if you'd have just done the job. And so 2 hours later, it finally got done. So 3 hours, and he spent an hour just bullshitting with it.
Yeah. But that separates. That's the line that separates people from quality attention to detail, human error. That's what separates us. People wonder why some people have success and other people don't. It's your level of focus and your attention to detail. Yes. And your ability to prepare for whatever task that you might have at hand. That separates people all the time. But I don't think we really talk about that a lot. Being complainers versus being somebody that's solution oriented. I think the background in the fields that you guys are in is meant for guys that are thinkers and troubleshooters. That's just what it is.
Some lazy motherfuckers that do that.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Oh yeah.
There's
you can't be in that type of field and not be a natural troubleshooter. You gotta like troubleshooting, like trying to solve problems. Any of that stuff that has anything to do with computer science, in that field, you have to be a solution-oriented person.
I agree.
So how do you deal with? So one of the biggest problems you deal with in this, when you're successful is, I couldn't do that, and I didn't do that. I met a kid. He was working at Walmart, and it was the funniest thing in the world because you go into Walmart, you ask one of those people a question, it's like you have fucking cooties or something. So
do I work here?
Yeah,
I actually don't work in this section. Why the fuck are you standing next to this section for?
Yeah. So I asked him a question. He goes, and he told me, he was like, "That's not my deal, but I'll help you do it."
Yes.
And I was like, "What the fuck, shit?" So he helped me. So after it was all said and done, I said, "Man, here's my phone number. You ever want a job? Man, you hit me up." "Oh, nah. It's just too easy working here at Walmart." And And I was like, "What the fuck?" And you're going to be one complaining that you're not getting ahead and that Walmart's not paying enough money. Guess what, motherfucker? Walmart's not. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the people who were happy with their bullshit ass job, but then want my money? When I'm willing to go out there and sweat my ass off, and you're just happy fucking working the aisle at Walmart. How do you fight that?
I have a resolution, a personal resolution to things like that. Whereas I don't take other people's problems and be responsible for them. Whereas if, like, say for instance, in the example that you just gave, and someone being content and comfortable with mediocrity, you understand what I'm saying, bro? If that's their life choice, that's their life choice.
But that's still subjective, though. That's subjective.
Then they're complaining that they're not making enough money.
But I don't have to listen. I don't have to live their life.
You're listening every time they raise your taxes to provide social services. You're listening, because I guarantee if he continues on that path, when he gets older, he's going to be on food stamps, which is now the Star card. His girl gonna have to be on WIC and Medicare, Medicaid, so that she can have her baby. I mean, that does fall within that. You're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
but
well, everybody on WIC cards are not are not like that though. But
no, but that's true. There's people who
some of us are
on
getting
WIC
over.
cards that need, well, but it's because they need it. It's because of where they're at. They fight to get ahead. They fight to move on, and they keep getting kicked, beat down for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. And I've told the story of the guy that I met that was on food stamps, and he only did it for a couple of months, but as soon as he found a job, he got off. It's the point of it. It's there to serve a purpose, to help you to move forward. But there are people who get in this, I don't want to work outside. Well, I've said time and time again, if I had to dig ditches for a living to survive, I would dig ditches for a living to survive. It's just what I would have to do.
Isn't that their personal preference? I mean, you have a personal preference.
What's a personal preference?
Well,
whether they want to work at Walmart or whether they want to work outside.
Yes.
That's not. I don't want to work outside. There's a difference between what I have to do. I have to do in order to survive. I mean, I can tell you now, one of the shittiest jobs in the world is digging ditches in Texas. It is horrible. I did it. It is utterly horrible. But if you have, it's one of those things. It pays a lot of money because they can't keep anybody.
Yes.
Well, you got somebody out there that like digging ditches too.
Who?
Man.
I'm just saying, you
ain't
got
nobody
to.
in this world that likes to dig ditches.
Somebody out there got to like it, baby. Somebody got to.
They like it because of the money that it pays.
That's all right, but they still doing it. They like it. Somebody like it enough. They like it enough, and I just think, like Mafio said, we can't make other people's problems ours, and we damn sure can't.
Why are they making their problems ours?
Hey Zach, I have something I wanted to point out to that. Like, I don't know how old that gentleman is, right? But when you were talking about the Walmart,
he was 18. No,
okay,
he was 18.
Great. So, the first thing that came to mind was when my youngest son worked at Walmart, right? And this was a personality trait of his where the young people call it finessing, but he was comfortable doing the least thing to get by. I mean, at Walmart in high school, he would wait last 2 weeks of the damn semester and turn in all the work, and the teacher still give him a B. And I'm like, what the hell? You understand what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, fast forwarding to today, just yesterday, and Chad saying he was having a conversation with his son. I was having a conversation with my son. He now works for American Airlines. And this kid is so into it. Like his ideas and just his whole conversation about how he wants to learn and how he experienced everything, with the fleet service from every aspect of bringing a plane in and getting the plane out. He's did a full 360. You understand what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, yeah, that young man probably was like that at that point in his life. But, there sometimes it clicked for some people, like it did for my son.
For some people. Well,
some people.
But Cameron was the exact same way. I literally had to tell Cameron, you got 2 months to get out of my house. Because he was working enough to make the money. Mm-hmm. He was working enough, but he didn't want to work more. So I said, you know what? You got 2 months. You need to, that way you can go out. And I was charging him rent. And, I was like, well, you need to go out into the world and you need to figure life out because this is not working. And I felt that I was contributing to his stagnant behavior.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. He was still fighting against, even when he moved out, but then he realized, hey, if I want a girlfriend, I better make money. Now, don't get me wrong. Cameron's not the most productive person in the world. He doesn't, but he has picked up the amount of work that he does so that he can, have things. And that's the deal. That's the draw to it. But there are people out there that literally want to blame hardworking people that they don't make enough money. You're making these bad choices in where you work and the things that you do. but then you want to complain that other people work harder. Don't get me wrong. This, for all the billionaires out there that are probably not watching this podcast, you got more money than you know what to do with. Fuck off. I don't want to hear your bullshit. But there are people out there that are worth tens of millions of dollars who started out in the dirt, who worked their asses off to get that money. And I personally believe they deserve every penny of it. And they shouldn't have to pay more taxes if, you hear about the guy who started working for Chick-fil-A sweeping floors. Now he owns 3 or 4 of them, is worth millions of dollars. He earned every penny of that. Every motherfucker. Matter of fact, especially with Chick-fil-A, because they make your ass work that. They have an hour restriction that when you first own, you have to work it every 7 days a week for like 10 hours a day. It's ridiculous what they have to do. But they deserve that. Donald Trump getting $7 million, he can fuck off too. You didn't earn shit, bitch. Your daddy gave you money and you made money off money. It takes money to make money, and that's all he did. He had money, he made money, he made more money. The only thing he ever did that was the smartest thing was marketing. He marketed himself as the brand. Matter of fact, there's a book that talks about how Donald Trump, when he was trying to get more funding, and they wanted to take his name off of everything, they went to Trump Tower, they got on a Trump helicopter, they went to Trump golf course, and basically he was pounding it into their head that it wasn't just the building, it wasn't just the golf course, it was a brand. Now he's ruined that fucking brand, but whatever.
Depend on who you ask.
But that's huh?
I say depend on who you ask.
Oh no, he's real. I know a guy who will pop off and say Trump was the greatest president. I said, cool, what did he do? They can't name a fucking thing. Not one fucking thing. The one thing you can say that Donald Trump did that you cannot give him, you cannot not give him credit for, was the vaccine, speeding up the vaccine. Normally vaccines, fast tracking the vaccine. Normally vaccines like that take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and getting that vaccine pushed out like that.
Yeah, but you don't think that part of it was the fact of how deadly the virus was?
It may have been, but we've had Ebola come into the U.S. and we did not have the uproar that came with COVID.
Shit, I don't remember Ebola being that damn impactful though.
Not deadly.
We had it here in Dallas.
Deadly.
We did, but not at the death rate of COVID.
Not at the capacity. Yeah.
But it doesn't. You cannot not give him credit for that. You cannot not give him credit for fucking giving billionaires tax breaks, which is the shitty side of it. You can't deny, he did a lot of things in the back, but they didn't overcome his douchebaggery. I mean, I don't know what he would have had to have fucking been Jesus to come over the amount of douchebaggery that he created, the division, everything. I mean, it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gotta drink Clorox to get rid of COVID, you fucking idiot.
So with that being said, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to ask, do you think
Clorox actually worked?
No, my question was, was he responsible for the expedition of the vaccine? Because he was talking about F the vaccine, get the bleach, use the Clorox. You know what I'm saying?
No, he didn't. He ended up getting vaccinated. You really do need to remember this as well. When Trump came out and was starting to close down the flights in from other countries, when Trump was doing all of that stuff, Nancy Pelosi went to Chinatown in San Francisco and said, y'all come on down. Don't listen to him. He's racist. That's what it always was. It's the only thing they ever had about Trump. He's racist. Oh, no. Chuck Schumer, all of them went down into these Chinatowns and said, no, come out. It's safe. Trump's just a racist. Nobody remembers that part. They remember him saying that there were good people on both sides. But if you actually watch the news conference, he wasn't talking about the racists. He was talking about, I would encourage you to actually listen to the entire speech that he gave. Now, you cross that over into what he did on January 6th, asshole. Fucking douchebag move. Probably should go to fucking jail for it.
Probably.
He could have stopped it. Well, I haven't watched every fucking hearing. I haven't watched every fucking hearing. But yeah, he should go. Fine, he should go to jail for it. Being an idiot and talking about. You wonder why these presidents take so long to speak, and now you know why. Because they look like you can't just off the fly say something because people will take it any which way. Oh, we need to look and see what drinking Clorox, if it kills it, why? Yeah, because it's going to kill you, dumbass. Why don't you go drink it and then tell us how it works out? But, he had some good actions, not great actions. He had some good actions, but none of it. I actually do hope he runs for president again, because I would love a good candidate to come up and just mud stomp his ass into the ground.
Not mollywop.
Just fucking mollywop his ass into the ground so that he can just go to the fucking corner and shut the fuck up. That's what I hope. Everybody said that he gonna run. I hope your motherfucking ass does run for president, and I hope you don't even get out of the first Republican primary. I hope you get your ass stomped into the fucking ground. Yeah. Mr. Vaughn there going night night.
Yep.
Taking a little cat nap there, Vaughn.
I was reading something and my eyes closed. Ain't that something?
Yes, they did.
So I want to bring up a point that I
had a little Flozell moment. He's like, it sure did.
So I want to bring up a point, and it kind of consumes the first 30 minutes of the podcast and everything we were talking about. A person's individual value system, and what I mean by that is, a lot of people, we all have value systems, and we value certain things and situations differently. And sometimes I think it's a disservice to ourselves as well as someone else to throw our values on them, And a lot of times,
name a value though. You have to.
I'll give it to you.
Just say value.
I'll give it to you. Zach, you were bred to be a hard worker, hands down. You understand what I'm saying? You were bred to. The fucking parade fields, for instance. You know what I'm saying? Shoveling the whole block just because you're on punishment. You were bred to be a hard worker. Just think about some of these people, and if they had the experience of ever having to work in their life, if they were ever in an environment where work was a value, effort and, things of that nature, they may not have had that experience. And I think about that just talking about Cameron and your son, my son, at first they didn't get it, but they've been around us for so long, it clicked to them. What if that kid never been around no one that it hard work? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I get a piece of job, get a piece of money and struggle. This is what life is to a lot of people.
But anybody who doesn't associate, you'd have to be a complete idiot if you didn't associate hard work with getting ahead. They learn that in school. You don't work hard, you get C's and D's and you get by. You work hard, you get A's and B's. You sports.
But not necessarily in this generation though.
No, and I got you. But sports is the same way. You work hard, you'll get ahead. If Vaughn hadn't worked hard and pushed his way forward, yeah, he's a big guy, but he wouldn't have been as mobile as he was. So you have that in everyday life. You know,
at some point we got
that takes time though, because all right, you take our friend Big Fella. Listen, he didn't learn to play football, in my opinion, until probably his junior year in college. From just seeing him through high school and all that, he was nothing in high school.
So you saying he was trash?
Trash.
Uh-oh.
And he would probably get on the podcast and say, yes, I was trash, until it clicked. And whatever it was that made it click for him, yeah, now you're looking at a 13-year veteran of the NFL that had multiple Pro Bowls.
Saban up his ass.
That's it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. It took someone to pull whatever we have in value.
But you notice, I mean, but pulling and having somebody light that fire up on your ass. Just imagine how many of us don't have that person for instance, Zach's father and his grandmother, they were tough as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? You gotta have somebody tough who don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Get the fucking job done. If you're not making your kids or your children question, or they're not speaking to themselves like, oh shit, I don't want to hear my dad's mouth, or I don't want to hear my mom's mouth. If they're not saying that as to themselves, I don't think we're pushing them hard enough, because they're too fucking comfortable, for one. And for some reason, this generation, and as we move forward in these generations, things have come easier to accomplish, like getting a Letterman's jacket in high school, or getting a trophy. They're giving everybody participation trophies now. They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because you participated, you entitled to the same things as somebody else who probably worked harder than you, or pretty much had better results than you did. But they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings in that. So, you continue to give people chances, like the example you said for your son. He can bullshit the whole 6 weeks. The last 2 weeks of the 6 weeks, he shoves in all the work and get the same grade as if he had did the shit on time. You know what I'm saying?
Remember, I'm sorry, pardon the interruption. Trust me, I was on him throughout the school year. When I realized what was going on his freshman year, I'm telling him, son, listen, this ain't just high school. You're doing a disservice to yourself. When you become an adult and you leave my home, this is going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, you don't do something on the day you're supposed to do it. You don't pay your rent the day you're supposed to pay me. Your house payment, they're going to kick your motherfucking ass out. You don't pay your water bill, they're going to cut off your water. They do. Electric bill, they're going to cut off your electricity. That's. But we raise all these pussies and tell them, oh well, you'll it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, just imagine if every hard worker was gone. Who all these little fuckers out here? Who's gonna build houses? Who's gonna mow the lawns? Who's gonna do all the things that have to be done? Nobody. There's gonna be nobody. You're gonna wonder why Mexico comes in and takes over. Fuck, they want to work. They want to make money. They want to support their family. Somebody was like, point. We need to deport all of them. I said, yeah, who's going to mow your fucking lawn for you? Who's going to dig the ditches you don't? Who is going to do the jobs that you don't want to do?
Hey, Zach, I'm glad you brought that up about Hispanics in Mexico, because sometimes, bro, it takes a life-threatening experience for it to kick in for some people. And just think about someone that's living in Mexico. Like, I don't know anyone personally that's in Mexico living in poverty, but I couldn't imagine where you have to run from this poverty, run from this violence, run from whatever it is you're running from to another country, risking everything. Think about it, man. They're putting their kids on fucking tires and basketballs to get them away. So those type of life experiences, man, your survival instinct kick in like, whoa. But then you take our kids Or you take some people in America and they say, well, all right, I get a little job one day. Well, you know what I'm saying? Or I have somebody drive me around and do all this. They probably never had that.
I say don't close the borders. Let them come. You know what? If you don't want to fucking do the work, they'll do it. You know, I hear there's so many parents nowadays, oh, my kid's a picky eater. Motherfucker, please? What? Your kid's a fucking picky? Fuck that bullshit. Kid's a picky fucking eater. Well, I don't like this. Well, motherfucker, at least you got food. There are entire countries with children starving. Shut the fuck up and eat the spaghetti. I don't give a fuck if you don't like that. Don't get me wrong if it's hot.
And I'm talking about SpaghettiOs.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm talking about SpaghettiOs. You're going to eat them too.
But you know
the
biggest part
there that would eat a bowl of rice with no salt, no butter, no nothing. And motherfucker put that shit dry, put it in some water, leave it for half a day, come back and eat that shit. Be happy as a motherfucker. You're bitching because you don't like. I don't want SpaghettiOs today. Fuck you.
And you know the scariest part of that scenario you just gave, Zach, is the parent that's complaining about it is the one who facilitated this type of mentality in this kid. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't like it? Well, what else would you like?
That kind of shit.
I'm going to throw this away and I'll make you something new.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Not that part.
So subconsciously, that parent has built this monster, and now when the monster is fully operating and the parent can't control him no more, now it's a problem. But again, subconsciously, psychologically, the parent was responsible for it all.
Oh no, yeah, but that's it. So you talked about learned behavior. They didn't have learned behavior to work hard. Yeah, most of these things that are happening with these kids is learned behavior. If I say I don't like it, I can get what I want. Well, I don't. It's not that they don't like it. It's just they want something different. Well, fuck off. Yeah. You're not going to get something different. You're either going to eat that, because I'm one of those people. If you don't eat it, that is your next fucking meal. Whatever it is, that is your next fucking meal. If it's breakfast, then you're going to be having spaghetti. Well, I'm just not going to eat. Fine. That's your motherfucking breakfast, by the way. You don't eat it now, you're going to be eating that shit for breakfast. Well, can I have a snack? Yeah, it's called spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
How about that?
That is the next fucking food you put in your mouth in this house will be that right there. That's the end of it.
I see your dad and grandma all over this screen right now, but I get it, bro. We're products of our environment, and if our environment isn't conducive to hard work, discipline, then how can they won't get it?
It's about setting the culture. It's about setting the culture around there. I mean, if it's not a part of the environment and the culture and the attitude you set around there, they're not gonna fucking do it. And that's the job of somebody that's the head of the household or whatever. Shit, you gotta push people when you don't want to. They get to pull the best out of them. So, yeah, my mom and grandmama didn't bullshit either. Shit, we couldn't lay in the bed.
I'll take the 50% best of somebody. I don't even need the whole best of you. Just fucking 50% out of what out of how these kids are acting, the things that they're doing, the idea that they're fucking entitled to, everything in the world because your mama and your daddy told you were a prince or a princess and they let you eat whatever the fuck you want. Go out into the world and find out that the only thing you can afford is ramen noodles. I bet your fucking ass be.
You get out there by yourself, you'll see. You get out there by yourself and you see. And there is a fine line between. I mean, a lot of our kids now are benefiting from how hard their parents work because their parents grew up poor or they grew up in the ghetto or whatever, and they work their ways out of it. And coincidentally, you have children that grow up that have their own room their whole lives. They got a soft, warm bed every night. You cooking dinner for them. And we done got soft on them. And these kids don't know what sitting out in the sun is. Sitting out in the heat.
When the boys lived with me, everybody mowed the lawn, including me. We all took 1 week to mow the lawn. And every year, I was the first one to mow the lawn. I wasn't going to ask somebody to do something I wasn't prepared to do. So every year, I went out. I was when the first time during the spring the lawn had to be mowed. I mowed the lawn. From that point forward, you can't tell me, well, it's not my turn, bitch. I already did it. And by the way, I never said bitch. I already did it. But the point was,
You probably didn't
I
say
mowed
it out
the first
loud.
time. You're next. Then you're next. Then you're next. Everybody mows the lawn. If there's 4 of us, that means we only have to do it once a month. If there's 3 of us, that means, we do it once a month, and it just
rotate another. Yeah.
It just rotates around, so it doesn't matter. If there's only 2 of us, well, fuck, every other week one of us got to mow the lawn. That was just the extent of it. But nowadays, parents.
I'm sorry.
No, go
Zach,
ahead.
Zach, do remember, you initiated and facilitated that type of environment, that type of understanding. You built that type of, parameters. Like,
but
this is what this is.
At what point did we become our kid's servant? Because that's what's going on nowadays. Is parents are now their child's servant.
I'm not.
Like, I am here to please you.
I'm not.
Of
course you're not. Of course. Right. But again,
I don't. But we have to break them of it. I mean, that's the thing. You got to break people of it. I mean, I'm not, I offered that kid. I felt, look, man, I've gone into Walmart 100 times, asked a question, got, dump my area. And I get this one kid fucking effort. And I'm like, damn, you're the kind of person that I will stand behind. And he's happy at fucking Walmart.
How long has that been?
It's been some years. Okay. I mean, he's probably 24 now.
And I could just imagine if he still had your card, he probably would have given you a call and say, hey, man, I get it now. It's that opportunity.
My number hadn't changed.
Yeah.
My number hasn't changed.
Yeah, but he probably threw your card away type deal. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding the present moment opportunity.
Ramifications.
Yeah. Think about how many times.
If I see somebody like that and I see them doing a shit job, and I don't care if you're power washing the McDonald's fucking deal. If you're going, if you go and go and go, and then I see you going back because you think you missed the spot, I'm gonna say something. But I don't see them. I see, you go to work someplace and you put forth the extra effort. I promise you, whether you think so or not, whether it's Walmart, whether it's some guy in Walmart, if somebody sees that effort, and you keep doing it, I promise you're going to move forward in this world. But if you just do the bare minimum, I'm not going to do more for Walmart. I don't make enough. Okay, well, you're going to be at Walmart for the rest of your motherfucking life. You don't put forth any effort.
Hey, I want to throw. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vaughn.
And he has access to Skittles.
Sour Skittles. The evolution of Skittles.
He can steal a beverage here and there, while he at work.
Hey, but I want to throw this example out there, or this point. Like, okay, we did an interview with my Uncle Bo, right? 57 years old, incarcerated half his life. Now, he saw a lot of the examples I saw in life, even though he was one of my major examples when it came to, success and things of that nature. But it's not until now he's really talking about getting a job for one of the few times I've ever seen in his life. You understand what I'm saying? He had
an addiction.
Yeah, he had an addiction. I get it.
But and that is where we as a country have failed people. I truly believe homelessness, drug addiction, we as a country, the war on drugs is a bunch of bullshit. They
were the drug
nobody
dealers.
Wants the war on drugs. Yeah, nobody wants drugs off the street because there's too much money being made off of drugs. Right? So
just say no.
We have utterly failed people like your uncle. I mean, that is hands down, without a question. And I've known a ton of people that we have completely and utterly failed. You throw them out on the street, you say, here you go, you've done your time, and they have the same old shit. It's the same place, the same thing. There's no direction. I promise you, you're not getting direction in fucking prison. You're not getting any direction. You're not getting anything. It's just your ass is being tossed down on the. It's a fucked up way of that we do it.
Mhm.
So I think your uncle is a complete. He's come, he says he's come to the realization on his own, and it took him this long because we as a country failed.
Yeah, and I get it. But again, we're products of our environment, man, and there's just a lot of environments that aren't conducive to what we have experienced and learned, and we now value. And I think it's
but
a
even
disservice.
Your uncle said that if he'd have been caught a little bit earlier, if they weren't just locking him up and letting him out in a week to 30 days or 30 days, and it was like, it's a fucking joke, it's just a fucking cycle. And then he gets hit with some real one. He's like, well, it's my first time, it's not that big of a deal. And now it compounds. And so again, the environment you're talking about is our failure as a country.
Yeah.
I
mean, environment of the country, environment of the household, and everything in between. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Our life experiences shape what our minds and our personalities and our value system become individually. And
we need to create our 501c, because that is one thing that I would very much enjoy participating in, is these youth crimes and not ruining them. And also, I get fed up because y'all know I do work with a bunch of charities on, they give them classes on how to cope, but literally sit in a fucking room, they watch some fucking videos, and you throw them out. There's no real guidance. There's no real, you don't have people, and you have 3 or 4 guys, yet you got 50 fucking kids. There's no real direction. There's no, hey man, I'm here to help, call me. There's none of that fucking shit. It's call this phone number and somebody will fucking call you back. And
it's just going through the formalities.
I believe.
Would you say that? Would you say is an example of just going through the formalities? Hey, we did this, but it's not effective.
Oh yeah, they just want money. They want money for their programs because they can take 20% off the top.
So again, that's their value system. They value money more than they value whatever this product they supposedly do.
Right.
I think some of them had early. I think they had early success. I think there are some charities that have early success, but then have gotten too big for their actual purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
It turned into something else.
Yeah, evolution and change.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it time?
You got to stop that. Yeah, we got. Yeah, let's go.
All right.
We got places to go, people to see. I got work to do.
Don't we, man? Well, again, guys, listeners, thank you so very much for joining us on another amazing episode of the People's Rebuttal Podcast. Have a great Friday. You know what I mean? Thank you for joining us. Vaughn, hit them with how they can find us.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and sometimes Twitch.
Ooh,
yeah, we need
Twitch.
Doing a Twitch, but we can't cuss and shit on Twitch.
I don't cuss anyway. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Follow us, share. Make sure to catch us on Tuesday and Friday.
9 a.m.